What we are witnessing here with the California fires is the death of the environmental movement politically, period. It is that huge what is going on in Los Angeles County in California with the officials and the decisions they've made there, the bad decisions, and it's affected too much, and things will change now. The environmental movement, the environmentalists who vote for Democrat politicians, that the Democrats want their votes, it's not enough people to justify dead people just turning up. I mean, it's beyond property damage now. How many billions and tens of billions of dollars this ends up being in California, in the Palisades, in Eaton, in the other areas. There are like 6 wildfires now, not entirely contained, is just too much. And its coverage is nationwide. Trump himself, I mean, what is happening, and you can look at it because we're going to show it to you, of the before and after pictures of the Pacific Palisades and other areas burning up right now, and the cars being left on the road. People trying to escape their homes and flee on the freeways to get out of Dodge because they're being told to evacuate mandatorily, right? It's too much, and they're breathing in the smoke and they're leaving their cars in panic. And they're taking their keys with them, and then there are these bulldozers coming in and moving the cars to the side of the road so the emergency vehicles can get through, because the fire trucks have to get through, the police have to be able to get through, to put out these fires and to get people to safety who need to either maybe be saved or to somehow control the fires. It's too much, it's too big, and they have to get to where they have to get to. And people are running for their lives is basically what's happening there. I mean, it looks like a war zone. My own wife, who I call Mrs. Producer, said it looks like Iraq. It doesn't look like the United States of America. Do you agree? You've seen the pictures at home. This is common sense at this point, what has to happen politically, leadership-wise. It wasn't that hard to help the people of California, at least lessen the damage that was caused from these wildfires. All they had to do was not divert all of this water that could have gone down to Los Angeles from going into the Pacific Ocean from Canada, the way it comes into Northern California to save the smelt fish, which is what it was designed to do. Well, you know what? The smelt fish are not as important as human beings, who are just turning up dead now, as I said before. And I'm doing this live. This is all in one take, so if I repeat myself, please forgive me. But this is what is happening. So the Save the Smelt Fish lobby is over now in the United States. That's done. And if it's in Canada too, it's done now. And Gavin Newsom, as the governor, needs to immediately get the water from wherever it's being diverted and get it down to Los Angeles. Get it down where it needs to go. These fires happen all the time in California. This was a preventable disaster. It happened in Trump's first term. He talked about it, that they need to get underbrush, when they do controlled fires there, so that these wildfires wouldn't be as bad, and get the water down there. This has been known to the people in power, like Gavin Newsom. And I'm going to specifically focus on him. I'm not going to specifically focus on the LA mayor, who honestly, she was interviewed and had nothing to say. Nothing to say. She wasn't even there at the time. I'm not criticizing her for that. But the governor of California, who wants to be president of the United States, that ship has sailed. He will never be president of the United States. This was obviously preventable, and he could have done things to help the situation. And he can say, "Oh, it's global warming," all he wants. That is not going to fly now, because there were things that people could have done, like getting the water down there so the fire hydrants weren't dry in the Pacific Palisades, to help put out these fires. It's too extreme. So that, again, that ship has sailed. So what's going to happen now? Well, it's not over yet. These fires have to totally be put out. And they eventually will be. So what's going to be the aftermath of the fires? Well, number one is, again, the smeltfish idea, save the smeltfish, is kaput. We are now going to focus, as we should, as leaders should, on protecting people's lives, people's property. First and foremost, isn't that why we have a government? Isn't that why you pay your taxes? So that, like, it's like the idea of calling 911 or the fire department when you have a severe problem. That is their first order of business. It's not to just their, core constituents where, okay, the environmentalist lobby here, let's do something for them. Maybe I'm going to raise your taxes. Okay, I'm a Democrat, so that's what I do to them. No, your first priority of business, when you're in charge of everybody, and you are when you're elected, it's not, and John Fetterman just said it, I'm not just senator for the Democrats, I'm senator for all Pennsylvanians. Well, Gavin Newsom is not just the governor of the Democrats, he's the governor of all Californians. And those Californians are winding up dead right now, and their property is being destroyed, and there are things he can do immediately to help change that. And I believe he's going to, because he doesn't want his legacy to just be, at this point, that he wasn't able to control wildfire, and that's the end of Gavin Newsom, because that is what would happen. He wants to at least be able to say, well, I did something about it. I was able to, at least in my legacy, be able to help the people of California who put me in this important office as governor. So that will happen. But it's not going to save his political aspirations. Those, once again, are over. I do want to add one thing, and that is, and I'm going to lean over here for a second, is to go back on what I said before and talk about the LA mayor for a second. Because millions of dollars were diverted from the fire department's own funding before this wildfire happened. And, what's more important? You get these fires all the time. Why are you diverting it from that? And also, why are you diverting it from the police, which I'm not going to really talk about right now. But what's that all about? They get these fires once again every year. And I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but it bears repeating because it's so extreme. And it's just so important. So this mayor is done as well. Now, I know Democrats win in cities, but it will just be another Democrat who's elected that can serve the people of Los Angeles. And if you live in Los Angeles, my heart goes out to you. I wish the best for you. And if you're a person listening to this who lives in other parts of the country, please donate if you can. Please help the people of California. It doesn't matter what political affiliation you are. And it doesn't matter if you believe the government led to this. These people are suffering, and I feel it. I feel for the people suffering, and that is the main cause of action right now, to help the people suffering now. They're going to need new homes. They're maybe going to need clothes on their back if everything went up and they weren't part of the rich in the Pacific Palisades. If they weren't, because not all of them were rich, okay? A lot of these were normal people, and I know it's expensive to live in California, but there were normal people there too, and they're suffering just as well. So, our hearts of our family go out to the people affected there in this tragedy. And part of it, of course, is a man-made tragedy, unfortunately, but a tragedy nonetheless. So we support you in California, and it doesn't matter, again, Republican, Democrat, Independent. I don't care. Socialist. I'm sure Bernie Sanders is going to want to come to your aid. They honestly should do fundraisers to help these people find homes, find new places to live. And honestly, if there is not going to be fire insurance anymore for the people living there, and there wasn't before this, right? A lot of these people are not going to be reimbursed for their homes, whether it's the rich people or the poor people, if they also weren't able to get fire insurance. We should try to help them as Americans get back on their feet. And that's what I think, that's what my family thinks, and I live in New Jersey, I'm sure that's what all New Jerseyans think and all Americans think. And what the world thinks, to be honest. Because I'm sure we're going to get a lot of well wishes now, and we should, from the world for the people in Los Angeles, California. So that's where I'm going to end it. I'm not going to do my normal ending, but just say we wish the people of California well.